All right, so I'm here with Matt Clarke,
Back with Joshua Phillips.
Churchill Mortgage, episode 2.
All right.
Part 2. So, hey, we talked about, by the way, we have to keep talking about your book, Hope in the Grind, by the way. But, a lot of this is rooted in your core principles.
Yeah, my core convictions.
Core convictions. And that's something that you've developed over the years. I think kind of originally, as you were saying, like you need to talk about things. And so you started to coalesce around certain ideas that were really true for you.
Yeah, so Mike, our founder, Mike Hardwick, he is such a polarizing person. Everybody loves Mike.
I was gonna say.
It's like, and so as I started taking over leadership here, how do you follow that? And so one of the things I had to do is make a decision early on. Am I going to just try to be mini-me, like mini-Mike?
Yeah.
Am I going to just be in his shadow the rest of my career? Or is it possible for me to establish my own persona, my own brand, my own personal core convictions?
Yeah.
And put those out into the market. So that's really what I went to work on doing is I wanted to define who I was. I wanted to define what was important to me.
Yeah.
I wanted to define how I wanted to choose, how I chose to live my life and the things I wanted to put into how I lead the business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to work on creating some core convictions and then started communicating them.
Well, let's run through them and maybe if possible, maybe try to say it in a way you don't normally say it. I don't know if you have it really scripted, but
I'll just say it the way I think.
the way you think, that's true. That's really all you can do at the end of the day.
First core conviction, I believe I was created to serve others without exception. I added without exception because, well, quite frankly, I don't like everybody, Joshua. I know that's hard to believe. But I don't get to choose who to serve. I get to choose how I serve them. Some people need a kick in the seat. Some people need a helping hand. Some people need a hug.
Yeah.
And so serve others without exception is where I started. The next one.
Well, let me pause on that real quick. So, and I love that because you say I was created. So I love just even embedded in that.
There is a God and he's
the
not
fact
me.
that he created you he's a creator. He created you for a purpose. And so there's so much packed into that statement. All right, what's the second one?
Be the hardest working person in the room. Lazy people suck. They just bother me. I'm not wired that way. And so when you're not wired in a certain way, it's hard to understand. And I know people have all their reasons that they don't appear to be as active or come across as lazy. And so I don't mean to judge anybody. I just want to be seen as somebody who works hard.
Yeah.
And I want to be seen as somebody who works hard here, in the gym, in the mission field, in the backyard. I just, quite frankly, I love to play. I love to take vacation. I love to have time away. And I earn that because I work my butt off when I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you ever have a hard time giving yourself a break or giving yourself...
Super hard time. I need therapy.
Because you're competitive. Gotta be. Yeah. Put you in the room with other hardworking people, and you gotta outwork them.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's the second one. What's the third one?
Be the expert. One of the things about life is you can't stop learning. If you're going to do loans for somebody, Joshua, you damn well better know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They're trusting you with their money. You have to be the expert. Anything we do in life, we need to be the expert. Or choose to surround yourself with people who are better than you, who can be the expert. That's part of that core conviction is you can't be great at everything, but you can be great at finding people who are great.
Yeah, and that's becoming harder and harder because the world's evolving so fast today that there's a lot to keep up with. And now maybe not in the mortgage industry. It's kind of a slow-moving
Think
train.
about this conversation. I came to you and said, Joshua, I need help because I'm not good at social. I'm not an expert at this stuff, but you seem to be. So I can surround myself with people like you to bring out a platform that I'm not naturally comfortable communicating.
Yeah. So either be the expert or have the experts around you.
Yeah.
Be humble enough to know that you need the expert and then listen to that person.
And find mentors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Too often we forget that mentorship is a huge part of our own development.
Total side note, how do you see mentorship? Is mentorship something we're doing at Churchill Mortgage?
I think we could do better. I do. I think I know I mentor several people intentionally around the company. I think I know they do also, and I see pockets of where I see more experienced people spend time developing less experienced people and helping them through life.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important thing for us to take responsibility to continue to do.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, if you think about it selfishly, the more that I help somebody else learn, the more that I learn.
True. True. All right. So that's three. What's the fourth one?
Um, Leave people better for the encounter.
Mm.
Every interaction we have with another person is an opportunity to leave them better than we found them. I originally picked that whole mindset up when I was at a Promise Keepers event in Atlanta, probably a couple of decades ago. Whoever was hosting the event said right up front, men, when you leave here, we're leaving this place better than we found it.
Mm.
So pick up your trash, clean up after yourself. Don't expect somebody to clean up after you. And that just always stuck with me. And I think about it in exchanges with humanity. How hard is a smile?
Mm.
How hard is a look? How hard is a thank you? How hard is putting your phone down and paying attention to somebody? Because honestly, most people in this world just want to be seen. And how dare we be so arrogant to not see them when we have an opportunity just to say, I see you.
Yeah.
You matter.
Mm-hmm.
That's leaving people better for the encounter.
Yeah.
And in our business, sometimes it's being honest with a borrower who can't afford a home. We can do this for you. It's probably not a smart idea. You're going to be financially strapped. We can do it because you're going to do it. You're going to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But if we do this, can we just agree to stay in touch over the next 6 months and year and a half or 2 years and just sit down and make sure you're staying on track?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to tell them no, you can't.
Yeah.
So there's so many opportunities and different ways to leave people better off than you found them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just from a spiritual standpoint, believing that God causes people to interact, like
Yeah.
God's ordering our steps. So when you start to see that, man, that waiter or that person who serves you at the checkout, that what if God's ordained that to be a moment where you share God's love? And are you sharing God's love or are you sharing something else?
I have shifted to that point recently as often as I can remember. Instead of saying, thanks, have a great day, I'll slow down and say, hey, have a blessed rest of the day.
Mm.
And it shocks me the pattern interrupt that creates between the recipient and what they normally hear.
Mm-hmm.
And I get, oh my God, thank you. You have a blessed day too. I get a different response.
Yeah. Let me give you one that just last week I was visiting a pastor friend of mine in Florida, and we went out to dinner, and he was very kind to the waitress there. But before we said our prayer, he saw her and he said, "We're going to pray in a moment. Is there anything we can pray for you
Oh,
about?"
that's awesome.
I was like, I love that. I've never thought about doing that. And she just shared a little bit of her life. And I think she stayed there and prayed with us. And I was like, wow, like what a moment. Just like, and I think he does that every time, just to say, hey, we're going to pray over our food. Is there anything I can pray for you about? That was amazing.
I wonder when the last person
Maybe never.
asked her if they could pray for her.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe never.
And no matter what your faith belief, most people would be happy to have somebody pray for them. And it's just what a way to care. So
Absolutely.
anyway, certainly he was leaving people better for the encounter. All right, well, we got a couple more to go.
Okay, the next one is do the next right thing. And that one basically speaks to the fact that we're all screw-ups. We all make mistakes.
It's like get back on track.
What are you going to do next? That's the question you always have to be asking you. What are you going to do next? Right? Life has a way of kicking you in places you don't want to be kicked. You go through divorce, you have people die, you get sick, you lose jobs, you have kids, and Lord knows a roller coaster kids put you on. You just got to go out there and hit your next best shot and do it with integrity. Right? You don't cover up lies with lies.
Yeah.
You cover up mistakes with raising your hand and saying, I made it.
Mm-hmm.
And you own it, and you shout it from the rooftops because there's no shame in making a mistake.
Yeah.
there's shame in trying to hide it.
Mm.
And so own it and let's move.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to be speaking in May at our all company meeting, and the primary topic is going to be around like what takes away our energy. And one of the things I'm going to talk about is secrets. And we won't be asking anybody to shout out their secrets, but I think secrets are diminish our energy so much when you lie and then you cover up the lie with a lie, and you told the customer the wrong thing, and then you tell another wrong thing, another wrong thing, and then you're just deep into it.
Yep. Yep. And then I agree. And so we have to just do the next right thing, hit your next best shot.
Yeah.
And then the last one, Joshua, is mornings matter. My morning is a protected part of my life because I know you deserve my best. I know my wife deserves my best and then some. I know my kids deserve my best. And not just today, but over the course of time. And so if I don't take that responsibility seriously, that God gave me a body, God gave me a mind, God gave me a heart, and he called me to take care of it so he can use it. So every day I do the same thing. I get up every single morning, I read, I write, I journal, I write down thoughts, I write down prayers, I pray, and I exercise every single day without exception. Without exception. So if I get a flight at 6 a.m., I'm up at 3 a.m. And I can take a couple hours to do those things, or I can take 30 minutes, right? But I give myself time. I can control one thing every day, what time I get out of bed.
Yeah.
And if Christ can die on a cross, I can get up a little earlier than normal to give him back a little something he gave me.
Absolutely.
And so I just feel like every single day that's important. And it's amazing the impact that a great morning routine has on your life. And so I kind of look at my job every morning to do three things. I got to fall in love, head over heels in love with my Savior. I got to fall head over heels in love with my wife. And I got to fall head over heels in love with myself. And my reading, I sit in bed next to Susan with her sleeping, with my little light on, and I read because there's tenderness in that quiet. And when I'm reading with her next to me sleeping, I think about her. It deepens my connection to her.
Yeah.
It deepens my connection to God.
Yeah.
Nothing else is surrounded. It's dark. I'm reading. And it's me and God's word with the woman he gave me to be my partner in life.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's a spiritual thing for me. And then I get up and I exercise because, well, I only got one body. I might as well give it a shot. So that's the last one.
Yeah. Well, I love how you connected your why to that last one, and maybe to all of them, but you definitely connected these strong whys. Why? Because I want to love my wife. Why? Because I want to serve God. Like it's very much connected to a strong why that pulls you forward every day. Well, let's see if we can just throw you one little curveball here. So, 7 is the number of perfection, and you kind of fell short at 6. So just off the top of your head, if you were to create a 7th core conviction right here, right now, what would be a 7th one if we had to come up with a 7th one today?
I've often thought what you just said is like, dang, I landed on 6, right? And so if I was going to add a 7th, there's so many that come to mind that I haven't qualified yet.
Name the biggest one.
I mean, one is the golden rule. Treat others as you'd like to be treated, but that kind of falls under leave people better for the encounter. One is never quit, right? But that falls under be the hardest working person in the room and do the next right thing.
Gotcha.
Right? And so there are a couple that, as I've thought about them, I can put under one of the 6 core convictions. So I guess I'm going to land on, don't let somebody else's problem become your own. If you got a problem with 7, you deal with that. That's not my issue.
Don't put your 7 belief on me.
Yeah.
6 is the right number.
Your anxiety is yours. Don't put your monkeys on my back.
All right, man. All right, appreciate you.
Thank you, Joshua.